on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is your NXT Homecoming preview, and that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
Woo! Yeah, after quite a great NXT, call it nostalgia, call it, whatever you want for a weekly title, but guess what? It means something to us. Black and gold
Don't call it a
going
comeback.
back. That's right.
I really tried, and you guys are looking at the thumbnail, and my thumbnail for this one's pretty basic. I tried to find the old, silver skull and black wings NXT logo PNG to put over this one, and it just didn't quite fit. I was like, all right, I'll leave it off. Maybe I'll spam it on Twitter next Tuesday.
Yeah, that little bit of font difference makes it so it doesn't quite line up.
Yeah, it's the X itself that doesn't line up. It always makes me think when we look at the older NXT logos. It always makes me think of the X Division Championship in TNA, how the X is bigger than the N and the T, and now they've kind of balanced it out a little bit. When you had the NXT 2.0 and you had the N that dripped down and the T that dripped sideways, that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Welcome to Logo Talk with Spaz and Jake.
Exactly. No, we're in that, that ground right now where, hey, logos matter. You know why? Because it stood for something. It meant something. Black and gold was more than just developmental. It was more because at that point it wasn't a developmental. It was the best of the indies being brought in, and that was going to be the future of NXT. Yes.
It was a real black and gold NXT. Now, granted, we talked about this a while ago. Black and gold NXT did kind of find itself into a pattern where you didn't necessarily have to catch the weekly shows. You just get yourself caught up on the go home show to the takeover, and you were fine. But at the same time, it worked on. It's the most two-way street between wrestling and wrestling fans that I can think of, in the sense that you had a bunch of indie stars that were well known and well traveled and all that kind of thing, but maybe somebody like myself wouldn't necessarily know about. So I'm getting to know these people that I've heard about for the first time. And at the same time, all those indie guys, not to say that there's anything wrong with indie wrestling, we're getting a little bit of the WWE polish. Hey, learn where the hard cams are, and
we're not stapling, gaps and badges and nips over here. There's no mouse traps filled with cheese on our end. People are just raring to go.
It's weird, and they're coming here next week
because we all don't want to defend ourselves when you're being hit in the nads with a staple gun, right? Any event, yeah. I am.
Oh, but don't worry, Burger Kingston is coming back soon.
That's
Anyways, I should get this out of the way right off the bat.
The only burger I'm excited for is Worlds Collide. Okay.
Hamburguesa.
That's right.
Hamburguesa. We already talked about that. Go back. Actually, you know what? Don't go back one pod. When this goes up on Sunday, Worlds Collide will have already happened.
So go watch Worlds Collide and then check out what we thought of it. Double yourself up.
We're maybe going live on your channel.
We will have gone live tomorrow night. So we will have already. I know. We will have already been live, so it'll be a SmackDown review / live watch along of Worlds Collide, kind of, because it's on YouTube. So,
indeed, and probably going to drop this as a premiere on YouTube, as I tried to with the Worlds Collide. Thanks to everybody that came over and joined us in the chat.
Yes.
For that. Mega and C Money and Judgment Day Era was in there. KJ popped in for a half second to say hi, I think. I mean, obviously you and I were there. It was a lot of fun. Gonna try and drop those every here and there. It may not necessarily be a constant thing, but I've been doing this channel for a while, and I don't really get a chance to talk to any of you guys.
Yeah, it works nice when I could be your lead-in, now that we know that works. So
indeed.
Makes it fun for sure.
To the people that are coming and joining us for that, as I impetuously plug it over and over and over again on our friends stream, because they're good sports like that. Thanks for joining us for that. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of weird to listen to myself podcasting while I'm trying to keep a conversation going on in the chat. So we'll see where that goes. It's not going to be all the time, I'll tell you guys that right now, but when I feel like it, which is horrible for SEO or whatever the word is.
Yeah, but hey, it works out. It's all you need to do. Little bits here and there. People enjoy it.
It's SEO, right?
SEO, search engine
optimization.
You got it. You
Look at
know,
me,
like,
like, I know what I'm fucking
hey,
doing. It's
I got
been a
my
week,
first
guys.
sponsorship offer today. So
Really?
for the channel, yeah, it's for a curtain
Nice.
company. They sell high-end curtains. So not so sure it's going to be anything our channel will be, our viewers will be interested in on the channel. But still, nice to get the offer.
Very cool.
Certainly
Very, very cool.
a humbling bit of
I'm gonna
update.
start every live stream on your channel now with "Does the curtain match the drapes?"
Hey, maybe that's what we went ahead and just we channeled that into existence yesterday. So
Speaking of the curtain matching the drapes, I can't believe I just used that as a transition. There's only 3 matches and a segment announced for next week's Homecoming, and the
yes,
reason I bring it up, the fact that we're gonna be dropping this on Sunday, is we're actually recording this Thursday night, guys. So in advance, please excuse us if other things get announced between now and Tuesday because we're sort
doesn't
of
sound
recording
like it's
this and
going
putting it in
to.
the can.
I from what I'm seeing, a lot of it is supposed to be like an of the night surprise. So
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I got 2 things that I wanna touch on that they hinted at might be next week, but nobody really clarified. But it's gonna leave me, an opportunity to open up a couple of different topics that you and I haven't gotten into in a while, because we haven't just sat down and, like, shot the shit about
e-
NXT specifically in a
exactly,
while. So
yeah.
as I was saying,
And there
speaking of the
also, not
current
that there
co
hasn't been much need, but like you look back at how big Black and Gold was at the time, and not that the NXT isn't huge still, it's a very big deal, but it
yeah.
doesn't have the instant popularity that it had then because things are going well for WWE. I mean, they still want to price people
Yeah,
out. They want to
yeah.
raise ticket prices. They want to, so, as where then there really wasn't a lot to sink your teeth into. So you kind of just were like, hey, this is okay. Let's do this. And
I'll
NXT
say something here.
was I mean, you think yeah, I mean, remember Keith Lee at Survivor Series? Remember the
Oh,
Undisputed
yeah.
Era showing up at NXT UK? I mean, all those moments that we had that people went ape shit bananas
I
for.
think it felt special because at the time, Vince didn't want to acknowledge it, so any little glimpse you got of it was special, but I do like that, like, keeping it under a friggin' black towel or whatever you wanna say isn't a thing anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the prodigal son anymore, it feels like it's part of the family. But yeah, you do lose that absence makes the heart grow fonder type of deal. I will say as well though, with NXT Black and Gold back in the day, I'm actually going to use a similar thought as what I've used with AEW. AEW, when it first came in, it went gangbusters. Like it was the thing happening at the time for 2 reasons. A, it was new, and B, WWE sucked.
Yes.
And
And
I
there
think
really
you can
wasn't a
apply
second out there at this point in time.
it's true.
There wasn't any
But you
NXT.
if you remember early days Black and Gold, you had people that were drawing that fake line and making it real. Like, "Oh, like, I hate WWE, I like NXT." And it's like, you wanted to tell them, like, they're the same company, right? But I do
Yeah.
think even if it was in a fake way, I think NXT in its early days had a very on a much smaller scale, obviously. But I think they did benefit from the same thing as AEW of WWE kind of sucks right now, and this is kind of new.
Yeah.
On a very bare bones basic level. And it's it's that whole like, oh, there's this indie band that started in my town, but now it's not a cool special like cool kids club anymore because everybody knows them and they're performing at Madison Square Garden. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying. I don't hate it as much because I don't necessarily have that, "Oh, I found a cool thing here in the corner, and I wanna keep it to myself." Trust
Yes.
me, I would love to turn around in a year, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, and come up here and tell all you guys, everybody listening to the sound of my voice right now, "Hey, Destiny has gotten big enough that they're running Scotiabank.
Yeah.
Everybody come."
Exactly.
Pause. But,
Everybody.
as I was going with my very, very lazy transition into, a couple of different topics that we haven't talked about in a while before we get to the actual show, want to get your opinion. Apparently, like, and I hate stealing this expression because the guy that says it way too much is a dickhead. But
Mm,
apparently, Blake Monroe has been corrupted.
really?
She's snapped and she's like taken red baths in the pool or whatever on NXT because
Yeah.
like she's the beauty queen, the supermodel, and now she's got like this psycho dark side, and it's very, very overproduced almost in the presentation of it.
Yeah, exactly. I
What I'm gonna say,
I'm all
what I'm gonna
for it.
say, okay, I wasn't sure where you were gonna land because it's gone from hey, I like this awesome thing, like pick anything else, like WrestlePalooza or whatever.
Yes.
WrestlePalooza is awesome. No, you're Baz, you're a fucking moron. It looks dumb. Okay, well, you're just in denial.
Yeah,
We've slipped from that to I love this, but it is one of those things that's either gonna shut people down or pull them in.
absolutely.
Like the over dramatic, cinematic, melodrama type of thing. So it's a very interesting point right now because Jordan Grace, who she's up against, is a pretty straight laced, hey, I'm a wrestler here to wrestle person going up against this person that is very much character.
Yeah.
So it's not like her going up against Tony Storm, where they were both in this like other elevated fiction type of idea with the black and white and the old movies and all that stuff, right?
Seems to be.
I saw this transformation on NXT and I thought I loved it. Some people are going to hate it. But if, and you tell me if you think this is fair, you're way more nice to AEW than I am. If I see people coming along to tell me how stupid this is or how corny it is or how tacky it is or whatever, which is fine, you're allowed to have opinions, even this week. But I'm gonna question you if I then go down your feed and you love like Darby Allin, who I also like, or Tony Storm, who I actually like, because now you're playing the what company do they work for game.
Yeah.
Because some of the artsy fartsy stuff that Darby Allin does, you with the whole like, oh, I tore my ear off at the pay-per-view, and now I'm gonna paint the name of the next pay-per-view in my own blood. All that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
Darby Allin. I hope people don't think I'm taking the piss. The Tony Storm thing took a long time for me to warm up to, right? And it's
See,
one of
I
those
liked
like
it, and now I'm like, I've gone the other way on it. Like I soured
okay.
on it as time went on. I liked it earlier on. I preferred it
So it
when she
wasn't
was.
timeless.
No, it wasn't for me. I preferred it when she was like in her own little world in her head, and kind of like everybody was just falling for her delusion. But once we started, like, oh, everybody can see it and
When
go
she
with
came
it,
back and she was
and
Rocker Tony for like 2 weeks and then went
yeah,
back again.
which was funny but unnecessary. Again, there was no
Mm,
reason for that, for the payoff for her just to work her
mm.
way up. Oh, you didn't see me coming back. Okay, fine. But there was no reason for Mariah to turn either initially. Like she
Fair, yeah,
won the
yeah.
title shot. She was facing her.
Oh,
There was
oh,
there
the
was
the
no point.
actual the actual storylines we could pick apart. Some was good, some was
See,
not
that's
good,
my
and
issue,
and
and
and the
that's
same
what it
thing.
is. That's why I carefully say continually. It's not that AEW is bad; it's just not grabbing me.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just not. I'm not big on the hardcore stuff. So the mouse traps and the staple guns
yeah,
and all that do nothing for me. It's like you're standing there and
yep,
taking these shots. Why would you put yourself through that
yeah.
just for the crowd to go, oh,
But I will say as
when
well, take a look at two people that I like in Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace, who individually I like, and together I it feels like they're driving in two different directions
yeah, it
from
hasn't
like from
hit.
from promo to match. But like the stories may fall flat. But I like as far as her doing this really interesting like hop inside my mind because what did she say? Glamour and violence were never supposed to coexist or something like that. It's getting a little bit into that, people used to say about Bray Wyatt, RIP, that like occasionally he would come out and talk some really, really weird promo stuff and then the bell ring type of thing. So she's getting into like a lot of that, like you're gonna get into the fiction as much as you want to. And I
Yeah,
want to. Give me weird shit. We just finished talking last night about how I think Pagano and Psycho Clown are gonna be like the greatest tag team champions ever or whatever I said to wind you up yesterday.
yeah,
I'm here for all the weird fiction. Like you want to
of
take me to
all
another world,
time.
um, you know, uh the Hardy compound, Sue Young in the Undead Realm. I'm here for all of that shit, right? But I have to draw the distinction between no, this is awesome and kind of undeniable, and this is something I think is awesome, and I totally get that people are gonna fall right off the boat with it, which
Really?
is I think is the only fair way I can look at it at this point, because when you get that specific with character stuff, I mean, it's like you mentioned the hardcore stuff. A lot of people are right into it.
Yeah.
You're not. So it's like, okay, John Moxley's gonna have another kind of hardcore match. And I'm with you, except for the fact that I'm gonna be at All Out. And when I see him and Darby killing each other live, of course it's gonna be different. Of
Yeah,
course
it'll
I'm a
be a
hypocrite.
coffin match. Like you're gonna have, and live is one thing too. You're seeing it in
Yeah.
person, but that match, that
And plus it
that
doesn't have to be good because you got Edge and Christian in the main.
right, is that gonna be the main event? We'll
It's
see.
looking like it heavily. It's at the top of the wiki and it's being used on all the like wallpapers and thumbnails and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Blake Monroe thing is a thing to
Then
look
why is it not
at.
for the title? I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah, fair
Why
enough,
would you not
fair
put the
enough.
tag titles on them? Why? Give it to
Tag titles
Brodito
don't
instead of
matter.
they don't, but you figure like isn't that the pinnacle of your company?
See, the piss off of it is, and oh my god, conversation already. The piss off of Brodito is individually, I like both of them. And they just did, hey, let's put these two guys together because they don't look alike. So that they could say, hey, look at these two guys. They don't look alike. Remember that era of it didn't matter whether you were watching TNA, WCW, WWE, wherever else, and every tag team was like a little fast guy and a big guy.
Yes.
It sort of seems like a throwback to that, and I get that. Buddy Murphy's obviously injured. They don't have Aleister Black anymore. He saw the light. You know, what's her name went from one spooky group to another.
Yeah.
But but yeah, no, it's interesting, the Blake Monroe thing, but, um, while I was watching it, I was simultaneously like, "This is awesome." Kick over to the next point. Not everybody is gonna think this is awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. I wasn't sure where you were gonna fall on it, honestly, because I didn't know where you were with,
Because most
her
times
so far.
I'm all for, you know, it's honestly, you know,
Yeah. Let
it,
everybody be as creative as they
yeah,
want, and
let people have
if some
fun.
of it falls down, then some of it falls down.
We've seen that with Wyatt enough. Like people are like, you know,
Yeah.
they would either shit all over it. They couldn't take some of the nuanced things and enjoy what was there. Like it always had to be what's next or what instead of being like what we're getting. And a lot of times people are, you know, forest for the trees thing. That's why I'm like, enjoy AJ coming back.
Yeah, of course. Paige apparently wants to come back. Apparently she's been, like, re-inspired. I don't care. I don't care if it's one match. We're gonna get Paige back. We're gonna get AJ back. You got rid of Punk way too quickly, so you never got to have AJ.
Yep.
Bam. But yeah, the one thing I will say about the Blake Monroe thing after this one promo, because she's kind of done this, like, the beauty queen cracked a little bit. It's week 1, and it's a pre-taped promo week 1. If she's going to be like from the stuck up glamour, like almost a Maurice type character to this person that's snapped, then she has to snap in the ring
Yeah.
and something has to change in the ring. Like you can't just come out with, oh, I threw out my white dress and now I've got a black dress on. Um, I don't hate the stuff that her and Tony Storm did. At the same time, I don't want it to be a carbon copy of what she did with Tony Storm, because Tony Storm's a very different creative person to bounce off of than Jordan Grace,
Yeah.
who Jordan Grace I will give a lot of credit to in the sense that she doesn't need a gimmick ever. Like
Yes.
she's very believable in the I'm just here to kick some ass. Can we do that, please? Um, I don't know. So I'm almost thinking, is it the wrong opponent for her to have this snap against?
I don't think so, but
I don't
because
know.
I mean,
I'm
you
just
can make
thinking
anybody
positive. Like I have to
work.
be realistic, right?
I mean, her and Jordan haven't worked a great deal, and I think that's
No.
also because it's like a change of ideals for Jordan Grace. She came from being the ultimate destroyer, and now she's not getting the job done. So she's not the juggernaut, bitch. She's not
Yeah.
indestructible and totally unstoppable and taking everybody down a few pegs like we thought she would be. She's just not destroying as we assumed she would be. And now you end up
And the thing
getting,
is, like,
yeah,
but what I don't like about that, first of all, and yes, wrestling can reflect real life. In real life, people have these times in their lives where they question themselves when their confidence is down and when nothing's going their way and I don't want to say necessarily a depression story, but like, serious self-doubt, serious self-reflection. These are all things that wrestling should be able to play with, right?
Yeah.
My only problem with that is Jordan Grace has sort of been in NXT, and even before she came to NXT, when she was TNA person coming over to NXT, she was almost just like there for an exhibition of like, here's this kick-ass person. But she hasn't done a run of like, holy fuck, I came and killed everybody
My whole
to then have her confidence cut out by this one new person. He's like, oh my God, she was the king of the mountain, pun intended. And then one person finally drove it. Like we never saw that huge trip to the top of the mountain. So I don't like maybe that's why it's not clicking for me.
Yeah.
And I have to go back to what I said at the beginning of this particular topic. These are two ladies that I really enjoy in really separate ways, and I think that has a big chunk to do with why this particular feud isn't clicking with me. But I
I,
do want to
I,
see
I think we're the same
past Jordan
mindset.
Grace.
Yeah. Like you said, past Jordan, where do you go with this? Because it's a good
Yeah,
introductory feud. Like it started off, I think, kind of ridiculous too, because people didn't want to boo her. And, oh my God, it's Blake Monroe. Like, we don't want to boo
mm,
Mariah. She's gorgeous. She's
no.
a great talent.
And
Uh,
I think people like I said, not everybody watches TNA, and the working relationship has helped that. But I think they were leaning on the reputation that she had built in TNA so much that they never built her an for Jordan Grace. I mean, they never built her an NXT reputation.
yeah,
Does that make sense? Like so,
exactly.
like it's a little bit of what I would accuse AEW of doing. Like back in their early days. Oh my God, it's the Dark Order. Who the fuck is the Dark Order?
Yeah.
Like on day one at the Rumble or whatever, like we all popped for Jordan Grace because we know who she is. You wouldn't blame a super generic, like part-time WWE fan for saying, like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, no.
So I
And
think I think they've I think they've let her down a little bit in
they've
that
they've
regard.
gotten
Nothing to
better.
do with her performance,
No, but
but
they did show who she is, where she's from, all those type of
yeah,
things, and they've gotten better
in
about
video
introducing.
packages,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've gotten much better about introducing people.
Fair. Yeah. Background, backstory, all the stuff they're doing with Lola Vice at the moment is fantastic. But I don't think that that is not purely a substitute for literally having her out there and as funny as this is to sound, like letting the audience spend some time with her.
Yeah,
Um, I can watch 25 Jordan Grace, like, here's where I'm from videos. If this is the first time I've seen her in a match, then I've seen her in one match. And I don't as I say, as she's fantastic. She walks by, she passes the airport test and all that shit, right? But I don't think WWE have built her into anything as other than, wow, look at that.
yeah,
And this Blake Monroe character that she's trying to play off, where it's like, like I say, like prim and proper and glamorous, and like I hesitate to say diva with a now a dark side that's coming out. You need to launch a character change like that against somebody that we're invested in, because if you do something bad to somebody I don't know, I'm not as invested as if you come and punch Jey Uso in the throat.
exactly.
Anyways, but I do think it's promising.
It could be good, like you said. There's a few people, like like we got the here and now. They just did a really good video package on AJ because she hasn't been there in 10 years.
Yes,
They
yeah,
recapped her nicely. They let her have the introduction, obviously, without the video package, and then they bring her in afterwards, and it's like, hey,
I love that she owned that.
yeah,
This has nothing to do with NXT, but I love that she owned that. Hop on Google and find out why your millennial parents were all excited on Friday. Like she's taking the piss out of herself,
absolutely,
which is awesome. Um, the making her whole comeback speech about like her journeys through mental health. Can't say enough about that. You and I have come up here and sort of vaguely touched on some mental health topics within the wrestling bubble. Our friends over the Wrestling for Life Network have done entire live streams on the topic, but I think her I think she was basically given an open mic for a bit, and she could have done whatever she wanted with it, and she chose to make her entire comeback speech about making a mental health journey and how that's okay, and, now you're back and you don't have to be okay all the time, and messages that could help us all a lot this week with all the crazy shit that's going on in the world. But I think it's fantastic. But, again, the same thing with the video packages and whatever. WWE's always been great at video packages. In the case of Jordan Grace, and partially it's because I do know how great she is, let her go out there and do stuff. Give her
Yeah.
exhibition matches, like, give her, like, the old school random, it's show night, this is who so and so is facing this week.
I
Not
wouldn't
I'm
hate
not
it either. Yeah.
I'm
Let
not
her
saying
go
go
out
out
there and
there and, like,
squash
have
and
her squash
dominate.
everybody.
No, but
Yeah.
she should be dominating to a better extent.
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the up and up, she's gotten screwed over quite a bit, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where it's like, it feels a little more like, oh, it's just for story purpose rather than her really losing. And that's kind of an issue too. I didn't think she'd come in and be like, the totally unstoppable champion, but I definitely
I
thought
thought
she
they were
was
gonna
going to
go
get
the
the
other way. I
title.
thought they were gonna, yeah, exactly. I thought they were gonna come in and slap the belt on her right away, like they did with Julia and then with Stephanie in short order.
Yeah.
But she's got a lot of good things to say about the NXT process, so maybe she's a call up that they're holding off on, so therefore they think they can wait to give her the belt. Fine, give me something. The Blake Monroe sort of corrupted, and I use that because other people misuse the word and think it's funny. She's going in this darker direction. All the white dresses are gone. She's going to come out in black next week or whatever. They don't have a match announced or anything. They don't even have a segment announced, but you figured they're going to get their hands on each other at some point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Two different matches that I don't know if are happening next week or not, but they were kind of implied. We have new number one contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, currently held by Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And
Yes.
it's Tatum Paxley and Izzy from the Culling.
Yeah.
Now,
I really like
before we get to this match, I do want to underscore, and yes, I'm going to crow about the NXT Women's Division once again. You know when I realized how awesome that match was at the end of the night on Tuesday
Yes.
was when I went into that match and I'm like, oh, it makes total sense. Like, make the number one contenders, Fatal Influence, and then they can have all the belts because they've still got this thing going on with the Elegance brand, and it's like they've got all the belts and they've got all the belts. Let's have a match with all the belts or whatever. Like, and then I'm thinking, oh, but then there's Sol Ruca and Zarya hasn't held any gold yet, and they're a really fun team. I like the two of them. The idea of Sol Ruca walking around with 3 belts would be hilarious, and they even made a joke about that on the show. Wouldn't
Yes.
that be cool? So I was thinking about the other 2 teams, and it wasn't until the end of the match when the fuck up happened and Sol hit the Soul Snatcher on Zarya and
Yes.
troubles within that team and whatever.
Mm.
And Tatum Paxley and Izzy got the win, and I was like, fuck yeah, Tatum Paxley and Izzy. Like, we went into that like going up and down throughout the match, and it's like in a no lose situation.
Yeah.
Tatum Paxley's fucking amazing. Izzy Dame, like, I'm not taking anything away from Izzy Dame. Tatum Paxley, Spaz digs crazy chicks. It's fine.
Always.
He's like, even though she's getting featured so prominently, I still think they're underrating her.
Yeah, a bit. And here's the thing, though. This really, I think, worked out perfect. You already have Fatal Influence in a story, right? They're busy. What's the story?
We'll get to that.
JC's champ, and there's the disillusion of them, right? So we've
Yes.
got that happening. Then we're dealing with this nonsense of Soul and Zarya. Can they coexist? Are they going to split? Not nonsense to us in the sense of like, oh, no, you girls can't get along. All these accidents keep happening. You get speared. You get, soul snatched.
You're the next Fraxium. Congratulations.
Yes. Can they survive it? And it would be something, too, I think, to see Soul finally lose her title to somebody being Zarya,
One of her titles, anyway.
Not the speed title at first, but yes, indeed.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about that.
But for her to lose her North American title, I think that to Zarya, being, and they don't have to do like a heel turn either. It could just be where they turn on each other. Although Zarya as a heel just kind of makes sense. I have enjoyed them together. They are one that I think that you break them up sooner than letting them get the gold because this is something you revisit down the road.
I think this is something you revisit on the main roster because
Yes, yes.
as soon as they split up as a team, I'm pretty sure Solrook is going to the main roster.
I think this is something we get them to
He's
reunite,
fantastic.
for the tag titles maybe later down the line. But for right
Maybe,
now, I think this is perfect. Soul is really needed on the main roster, more needed than a second WrestleMania, that's for sure.
maybe, maybe. We'll
I
talk about that on it. When things are confirmed, we will address it
We'll
on the
find out.
channel.
Well, we would already know with our time shenanigans here. My time traveling lawyer let us know that announcement tomorrow. They have staff and talent in Vegas for this announcement at 3 o'clock tomorrow. SmackDown is in what, Norfolk, Virginia. So interesting that they're having so many people at Vegas at 3.
They really are making a home in Vegas, eh?
Yeah, they're trying to
What is it like?
TKO themselves
What they say,
there.
like the showbiz capital of the world or whatever?
Something
But
along those
anyways,
lines. And
but we
it
will.
is sad because knowing that it came from, 40 minutes up the road from me and seeing what it's become and how it's turned into this
What have I become?
this corporate giant of how can we rein people out of their money, and like I said before, with ticket prices continuing to go up, they managed to make Vince sound like the good guy there by saying we want to price out
Yeah,
families and make it more expensive. But as far as NXT goes and the way they do it, they're keeping prices pretty fair. They're letting
yeah.
people have families go. They're still doing the packs and packages and stuff. So Shawn
And we touched on
Michaels,
it.
we salute you.
We touched on it the other day. The NXT plan going forward is to do more house shows, and the house shows look from the pictures that I've seen. The house shows look pretty stacked.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us
Now
a glimpse of
they've
the
had
future.
people, yeah, they've had people in there visiting from the main roster, obviously. Um, but yeah, like they don't do as many house show loops on the main roster because main roster people have so much other stuff on their plate behind the scenes and whatnot. But like when do you need the reps? You need the reps when you're new. You need the reps when you're learning. You need the reps when you're adapting, and that's all the purposes that NXT is supposed to serve.
Yeah,
Now, I have no illusions at all that Tatum Paxley and Izzy are going to win the titles yet,
no.
but
But
them
like I said, Fatal Influence is busy. Soul and Zarya busy. What is the culling doing right now? They're doing F all, and this
the
really,
culling is basically Tatum Paxley and Izzy with two like angry looking managers on the outside.
yeah. So I
But
think
I
this
do.
could be really good, and they can add something
Oh,
great here.
I don't doubt that it'll be good. And like I say, I don't want to leave Izzy Dame out there in a lurch because I think she's fantastic too. I think she's just got a partner that's a little fantasticer. So she's the other good one.
Yeah,
But to the surprise of absolutely nobody, I cannot wait until the hot tag that puts Tatum Paxley and Alexa Bliss in the same ring.
gonna be great.
Let's go. And I mean, it's not bad hands to be put in as far as making them look good.
It's not a
Okay,
bad spot to have, that's for sure. And they could take those tag titles, and
maybe,
I think it could be
maybe,
fun. You know,
maybe. Yeah.
you
'Cause
never know for sure.
then you do give them carte blanche to sort of float around SmackDown, Raw, maybe even TNA. Remember, Tatum Paxley was technically the first NXT star to show up on a TNA show, answering a open challenge from Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
Really
So
cool. I remember popping huge for that at the time. Now I
absolutely.
got a question for you. And again, it's one of those I haven't picked your brain about this too much. So we'll talk about the general topic before we talk about the actual upcoming match. What do you think about them incorporating the speed titles on NXT?
I think it's a good idea because originally the contract was just for Twitter, and once that ran out, um, that they were only going to be able to do so much. I think it's a better idea to go ahead and let them at least do something with it than just letting it fade to the side and disappear.
Okay.
I mean, why just have these belts briefly and then be like, oh, now it's more content for NXT. It's quick, so you could do a 3-minute match between
Yeah,
two
they
sets of
could
commercial
like
breaks. Always,
they could have just gotten rid of them in the sense of they were kept so specific to Twitter, X, whatever, and never really referenced on screen until feed on X sort of went away.
yeah,
And Sol Ruka did an interview about it, and she said, like, "There's no more WWE speed. What am I supposed to do with the belt?" And they sort of said, "We don't really know yet." So she just started carrying it around NXT, and
yeah,
nobody told her not to.
exactly.
I think that's really cool. I think she worked herself into a bit of a shoot there. I also think it's really interesting because Chad Gable Americano is the men's speed title so
Yes,
holder, sorry. And so right now I don't know what they're going to do with that. So I think that they've focused on the women's for now. Um Sol Ruka, NXT superstar, already had the title, made for a much easier not introduction per se, but like saying like this is going to be a thing now.
yeah,
Um the people that are like saying, "Oh fuck, this is so lame," whatever, whatever, whatever. Um, I get it to a degree because it's more belts and saturation, and that's a really valid conversation to have. At the same time, at most, it's like you said, 3 minutes of your show.
yes,
Okay, sorry, technically no. Championship matches are 5 minutes. So
yes. True, true.
at most it's 5 minutes of your I could do without the color changing friggin' timers going all around the LED while the match
Yes,
is going
we
on.
don't need all the
I
extras,
could do without
graphics
that.
and stuff. Yeah,
But it's I don't love it, but it's not enough of a thing for me to say it's a bad thing.
yeah. It's not a bad idea. And then you're like, oh, why
Yeah.
can't other matches finish in that time frame? Why can't it does
Yeah.
open up a perplexing sort of like paradox that is wrestling. It's like, well, if you could beat
Yeah.
them in 3 minutes, why not do it every time? Why the match like that kind of stuff.
The way
But
I look at it from a storytelling point of view is especially not so much for like brawling type wrestlers, but for like technical wrestlers, especially submission wrestlers, their whole match uh process would be like, hey, get in the ring, work an arm, you know, grind it down, work the joint, whatever, whatever. I think by saying you don't get to do that. You've got 3 minutes to get it done or not get it done. The story that you tell is that people have to change their game plan. It's why I don't totally hate the Heritage Cup. It's just a little bit different. You've got a couple minutes to grind somebody down, but then the round is over. So you have to change your tactics.
yeah, which is not a bad thing.
I just
It's
lost your
different.
sound.
It's not a bad thing. It's
There we
different.
go. Anyways, I'm and this is the thing, like I'm very middle on this. Like I don't like I say, I don't super love it, but it's not enough for me to not like. So let's see what they do. And the little extra that they're using it for wrestlers to make cameos in this tournament. As we say, the finals of this mini tournament are going to happen at some point, and the winner of the tournament is going to face Sol Ruka at No Mercy. Now, I think it was initially implied a couple of weeks ago that the final was going to be at Homecoming, but they didn't say anything about that this week. So I think they may have quietly changed it.
Yeah.
But Candice LeRae visiting from the main roster, taking on Zaya Brookside from TNA and going over Lainey Reed, who's super new, going over Fabi Apache, yes, with help from Natty, and that has to do with AAA and all that kind of thing. But Fabi Apache from AAA, Zaya Brookside from TNA, Candice LeRae from SmackDown. Raw doesn't get any representation because fuck them. Lainey Reed, who's the only actual NXT representative, and Lainey Reed, who's probably going to be the winner. Let's be real, since we just made the speed titles an
Yeah.
NXT title. I'm sorry, not saying she's going to win the title, but she'll be the contender
Yeah, no, it makes
because
sense.
they've just made the speed titles an NXT title. You're going to have two NXT people fighting for them, I would think. But if we're going to get constant, because what was it on X? Like it was like one match a week, and most of the time they were contender matches, and like every couple of weeks there was a title match. If we're just gonna get contender matches, contender matches, contender matches, bring back Rosemary. It'll be fine. Uh,
Yeah.
bring more people over from AAA. As I say, again, Rosemary has history with Tatum Paxley. Does Tatum Paxley cost her a match in a speed match? And then you got Rosemary taking on the Culling with some extra friends. Crazy Steve comes over and decks Sean Spears. Like lots of things can happen from this. And if the speed title, not so much for what it is, but right from Jump Street, they're using it as the melting pot title, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And if that's the purpose it's going to serve, that's not terrible.
It's not.
It's
Not at
not
all.
terrible. And if you don't
And
like it, there's your pee break.
exactly. If it's
Not
not for
even.
you, hey, it's not for you. It doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just don't
And
think that
we've
it's
seen it
enough of a.
before, you know?
I just like I keep going back to it and I'm being repetitive tonight because I'm tired. It's not enough to get excited about, but nor is it enough to get angry about. So what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's a
such a
fart in the
quick
wind.
thing, like I said, between entrances and the conclusion and the match itself. Really, I mean, come on. That's everything. It's 5 minutes in and
It's
out.
it's a cow's opinion. It's moo.
Yeah, it really is.
Anybody out there, if you get the reference, you're us. All right, so I guess we should dive into what we actually have announced for the show
Yes.
next week. Very much leading into No Mercy as well. One special show leading into another special show. Snowballing, I guess you would say, if you were a gross person.
Mm.
Ricky Saints and Obafemi are going to be guests on the Grayson Waller effect.
Why am I so excited for this?
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's
Grayson
definitely
Waller, bringing him back because we haven't seen him really do anything on his own in a while, and I'm excited with him being involved and
did you
doing
see the
fun
cool
things.
Grayson Waller story that went around Twitter today?
No.
He was on some podcast and he was talking about um his early days in WWE, and somebody tried to get in a fight with him at a bar, and then he turned around to have three very unlikely assistants back him up. So Grayson Waller probably shooting the shit with somebody or getting shit talked by somebody, right? Because he's
Yes,
not the biggest guy. Like he's in shape and he's a specimen. Let's be real. But he's not the biggest dude. He's not the most imposing dude. So somebody's trying to fuck with him. Guess who
exactly.
shows up? Guess who shows up behind him to back him up?
Who's this?
Shayna Baszler,
Ooh,
MVP,
okay.
and Josh Barnett.
All three make perfect sense. Real fighters, and MVP was in prison for what, a decade? So yeah, they're all ready to stand up for their buddy. They know loyalty. They know
Real
camaraderie.
fighters, cry me a
Yeah,
river.
basically, you know.
I
Barnett,
am
you know, Mr.
I am
Bloodsport.
wondering though. I am wondering though, with Waller being there, and later on down the card, DIY are on this card.
Yes.
One guy has ties to both, who's not been seen for a while.
Okay.
Are we going to get the return of Austin Theory, and is this going to turn into Ricky Saints and Obafemi taking on A-Town Down
E-Town.
Under?
I don't think so, but this could have been used as something really fun. You
Mm.
know, I think it could have been a place for the
'Cause
breakup to happen and all this type of stuff, but unfortunately,
the
that's
other
not what we
funny
got.
thing, because he's kind of being Big G on the main roster,
Yeah.
if he comes out there to do the Waller effect, and he's all in black like the New Day, and the New Day come out with him to host the Waller effect.
Yeah.
Saints and Obafemi 2-on-3 against Grayson Waller and the New Day
It would be
would be
smart
hysterical. The
because,
stare down. Okay,
well, if you
no,
do
no,
Grayson Waller
no.
and the New Day taking on Austin Theory and then obviously the other two with Femi and
Maybe,
Saints,
or
that could
maybe
be
it's a
fun.
handicap until he comes and makes a surprise, whatever.
Huh.
Do you know what it is? Out of all of them, and like I
Smart
like
to build up for
Saints,
Worlds Collide with the New Day as well.
except this is happening the Tuesday after Worlds Collide.
I know.
Time travel, remember?
We're not there yet.
Time travel, it's fine. But no, out of all of these, I like Kofi Kingston, I like Grayson Waller, I like Ricky Saints. The stare down between Obafemi and Xavier Woods would have me curious.
Right?
Because how does Xavier Woods overact in the face of Obafemi?
Oh, it would be excellent. I mean, everybody's
Who's
clamoring for
apparently
him
going
and
to be booked.
Rusev,
We
but
talked about this last night, but apparently he's going to be booked against Rusev at some point. Obafemi Rusev.
the crowd
Let's
was
go.
excited for it. I was excited for it. Let that match happen and let's have some fun.
Rusev Penta wasn't terrible this week. It was a
No,
really weird.
it was an interesting match, but it wasn't
Yeah, I don't know what I
terrible.
was expecting from it. Like, it wasn't the highlight of the night or anything.
But it
Like,
wasn't terrible.
I'll have a bit more of that. Again, Penta like teasing going heel on Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Why don't you love Penta? The
No
fans love
title.
Penta.
But it
The
makes
fans
sense
love
for
Penta.
Penta,
Everybody loves Penta.
but not you.
Mr. Pierce, why don't you love Penta?
It's such a simple but effective promo for him,
Yeah,
and
because it's
he's
so terrifying if you take him as the character he is.
yes, exactly. So let's
If
see
Penta
what
was
comes of
talking to
it.
me and suddenly like lowered his voice, put a hand on my shoulder, I would just shit myself.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's no tap dancing around it. I would just shit myself. It's fine. But if not, Ricky Saints and Obafemi have this really sort of like comedic bickering thing going on right now because both of them are baby faces. The crowd loves Oba, the crowd loves Ricky Saints. So they don't like go at each other. They just kind of snipe at each other.
which
You
has
know what I
been
mean?
interesting. Yeah, and it's been
Because
this kind of
yeah,
back and
and
forth for a bit. You know, like
it might you know what it is? It might not even be a match. It might just be Waller like stirring the pot and then the two of them like shake hands, put Waller through a desk, and then like say see you at No Mercy. Like it could be
yeah,
that simple.
which would work.
It could it could be that simple. Now, now, fun, retro, nostalgia, old school black and gold NXT. Ethan Page defends the North American Championship against Tyler fucking Breeze.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Like, sign me up for that. That was a hell of a thing that I didn't see coming or happening. And damn, that was cool.
That's gonna be a
I,
lot of fun.
yeah, I like it a lot. Um, I think
It's a cool
that,
one-off, but I hope it means that Tyler's gonna like come and like maybe just be like a functional like helping bit of the mid card, like a Sean Spears,
yes, which
like
would
a
be great
babyface Sean Spears, I should
if he's
say.
back.
Yeah. Well, he works backstage, doesn't he? Doesn't he have some kind of creative role in NXT, like
I believe
behind the
so.
scenes? And like he does that, and he does up, up, down, down, and they run what's the gym called?
I forget it now,
Uh
but
Flatbacks.
yes, that's what it is.
So he's got a bunch like if his contribution is like, hey, every now and then I come in and help the story, like that's fine.
Yeah, it works.
It's like Sean Spears when Sean Spears came back, he's like, oh yeah, you guys got Sean Spears back, but you just stuck him in NXT. Yeah, he wants to be there. He's helping everybody he works with, and he's cool with that. Like,
Exactly.
not everybody's main eventing WrestleMania, and some people don't even have that at the top of their bingo card. As funny as that is to say, and yes, the Josh Alexander interview that came out last week, I never really had WrestleMania as a goal in mind. It's like, but you did though.
You
Like,
definitely
what are
did.
what
Yeah,
are we doing here? I'm not a wrestler, and I have main eventing WrestleMania on my bingo card.
exactly.
The best I can do is get over a kick in the shin at a Destiny main event.
Hell yeah.
Fine, kick him in the shin. It's all good. I am gonna hope against hope here that something happens and Tyler Breeze actually wins.
That would be incredible. I don't see it
And
happening.
I wouldn't be predicting that if it wasn't for so much talk of the Chelsea and Ethan act being a main roster act.
Yeah, it really feels like
Now,
that's the
I'm not saying Tyler Breeze comes in and he's like the new like head honcho on the show. Maybe he has like a glory run for a couple of weeks. Another challenger comes along. Josh Briggs comes along and kills him for the North American title in like 2 months.
yeah.
But like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, man. Like it wouldn't set the world on fire, but that's fine. The world's already on fire.
The world feels like it's burning, so you're not far off.
We need some fun. AAA is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be a
AAA
lot of
was
fun. I was
AAA
in
was fun.
person.
What am I talking about?
It was amazing. And I was in
It
person
was.
when Prince Pretty tried to get the title, the North American title from Velveteen way back when.
Yeah, we don't talk about him. Fuck him.
No, but the point was, I thought he was going to get the title then, and he came so close and never managed to capture it. And it was kind of like, oh, he came back, he's going to get it. And then it was like, oh, it didn't happen. Like one of those. And I don't know.
Now, the semi-predictable thing here is Chelsea Green comes out with Ethan Page. Once again, they do this Team Canada stuff a bit more. That's fun. The other thing, and it would be even a bigger pop if they hadn't already done it once.
Yes.
Do we see Fandango for a night?
You know,
Dirty Dango.
Yeah, I normally would have probably said yes, but now it feels like no, just because we've kind of already gotten it with before with some other surprises. I wonder about a few others.
As a surprise. We never got the Fashion Police reunion or whatever. And the thing about it before was JDC was a heel.
Yes.
So we kind of did that doesn't make any sense. How's he coming out as Fandango if he's a heel on the other show? And then he wrestled as a heel. But they've kind of turned the system babyface over in TNA because they're being positioned as a couple of the guys that are fighting back against like the NXT insurgents. So this time around, him coming in and having a feel good one night return to NXT, one night return to the Fashion Files or whatever, it wouldn't be as jarring as it was last time.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And the other thing about it as well is Tavion Heights got screwed out of the North American title before. Technically, Tavion Heights should be the number one contender because he defeated Ethan Page in the flag match on NXT.
Yeah, you would assume he would be the next one, but
between Tavion Heights coming and possibly getting himself involved, possibly getting himself a little bit of revenge, and Tyler Breeze already being a nostalgia act that might bring back the other side of the nostalgia act, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say we get a new North American champion on Tuesday.
Wow. I don't think that's a terrible idea.
A headline.
That will grab a headline and wouldn't be the worst thing for Tyler Breeze coming back, gets the title. They've done a lot with Ethan Page. Good work.
Yep. Ethan Page feels, and this is not anything against NXT. I'm an NXT guy, right? In a few different ways, Ethan Page feels bigger than NXT.
Yes.
Like he feels like he's done the whole Canadian flag belt gimmick and he's kind of made it his own. But he feels bigger than the title that he's holding, which makes him feel bigger than the show that he's on.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No. But he's excelled. He needed NXT because NXT made him the person that he is today, that heel, all of it. That brought about everything that we needed to see with him.
And I mean, his former tag team partner is doing so well in AEW.
Right.
Killed by the emo cowboy.
Yes.
Anyways, moving swiftly on. It's really funny they've got less than 1,000 people in that building. I don't care. I'm an asshole. AEW Dynamite is getting outsold by NXT house shows. Suck my fucking cock.
You know, it is just an amazing thing. We know about the ratings already, of course.
They're so bad, and I'm going in like 10 days. Oh, the preview is going to be fun next week. Where was I going with that? Oh, my really, really cheesy intro to this.
Yes.
Here's what was the biggest tag team match on this show until we got another tag team match on this show.
Wow.
Interesting. Nostalgia. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense on any side, but Trick Mellow Gang versus DIY. This is
another face heel flip, but let it work. This is the most over that Carmelo has been since going up to the main roster. I say that with like full recognition to this, and I'm just hoping that it's as good as we think it's going to be. DIY never usually disappoints, and I'm
I'm gonna say this
excited.
even though nobody's hearing this until Sunday, I'm predicting now that Trick shows up on SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah,
Because here's the funny thing about this, right? Never mind the fact that
I don't
DIY
think
are
he right.
magically baby faces when they come to NXT. Never mind the fact that Trick and Mello nearly killed each other over the NXT championship.
Yeah,
Never mind that Trick's holding the belt from another company. Never mind that none of the pieces actually work, and I don't care. That's why a nostalgia show is fine. But the funny thing is, you do this on Tuesday, and on Friday you get the exact same match, except Trick Williams is the Miz.
yeah, which is pretty crazy, right?
I think here's the funny thing about it, and this is where everybody would win. I don't think there's anything else for Trick Williams to do on NXT. I think that's sort of an overstatement at this point, right?
Yeah,
I think you put them back together, you put Trick on SmackDown. The bonus of that is you now have Trick Williams carrying the TNA title on main roster WWE TV.
yeah,
Because
and
it's weird how specifically they've kept the deal to just NXT. It's kind of cool in a way, but other than Joe Hendry, Mickey James, and Jordan Grace showing up in the Royal Rumble and Joe Hendry showing up at WrestleMania, what other TNA things have they done on the main roster?
I know,
They sent
and
AJ to Slammiversary, which was awesome.
which was fun. Yeah,
I still think we're gonna get an exhibition between him and Leon Slater at some point, which would also be really cool.
would be awesome.
Uh, but because his retirement next year is between the Rumble and Mania,
Hmm.
apparently.
Yes.
Apparently his contract is up at like the end of February. So like he'll be there for Rumble, he won't be there for Mania.
Interesting.
Unless they tack on a month to do like AJ's last match or whatever.
Yeah. Which, I mean, they
But
could always agree to, but we've seen
yeah,
it before with
exactly.
others.
Oh yeah. But getting back to the tag team match at hand, Trick and Mello, I think they win,
I
even
think
though it
they
doesn't
do
make any
too.
sense.
Well, they're not going to have the TNA champ lose,
No.
right? That's my thought.
I mean
So,
you could have them not communicate and Mello eats the pin. Mello's eaten the pin on SmackDown a lot recently. So
yeah. But I feel like
stuff him
DIY is they're
is,
not
you know,
exactly burning the world up bright on SmackDown in the sense of like they're not in any top position, so you don't need to keep them
no,
safe.
but they are, while they're not setting the world on fire, they are keeping the depth in that division. Like anybody else in that division trying to do something will face DIY at some point.
Yeah.
So you can't really treat them as disposable. Whereas this team, unless there's a call up coming that we don't know about, Trick Mello is like a one night thing. And
Yeah.
Mello eats the pin or whatever the case may be, or like there's still the whole idea of like the TNA troops are rallying. Maybe they lose because TNA fucks with them. And
Yeah.
you can't exactly turn around at that point and say Trick losing makes TNA look bad if TNA is the one that made them lose.
True.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
When they gathered all the oh, it was like right after Slammiversary when all the champions got together and it was like Steve Macklin and Leon Slater and the Hardys. And it's like, we don't have an or we don't have a TNA champion right now, but you've got all of us and we will like stand the line and all the military puns that Macklin uses.
Yes.
But do you get Steve Macklin, the international champion, showing up on NXT to bitch slap Trick Williams
Makes you
before,
wonder,
during,
right?
or during, or after his match? Still don't like the fact that it's on a baby blue strap. I still think it's a bit weird, but we move on.
Mm.
Um, thing about it is each of these guys in their own way, DIY in their own way, Carmelo Hayes, even though he's not been used super great on the main roster, in his own way, Trick in his own way. All these guys are over. None of these guys lose by losing.
Yeah.
I think
I
there's going to be
mean,
a lot of fun. I think this is going to be a comedy match. Like there's so
um,
much like ego and bravado between these four guys. I think it's going to be like unintentionally funny.
okay. I could see
Because
that too, and not
at
be a
some point, you're
bad
gonna see
thing.
Gargano, who's not a big guy and knows how to go into the ring and play the small guy. At one point, you're gonna have Trick kick his head off, and it's gonna be the most unintentionally funny thing ever.
Yeah.
But, I'm gonna go with Trick and Mello against my better judgment.
I agree with you. I think Trick and Mello are gonna win, and from there, we're gonna see you know, maybe a short, it might just be this week, but I could see Mello kind of being around a brief bit with Trick, but
Yeah.
until he drops that title. But more than likely, it'll be a one-off. I think they're still winning though. Trick is not, he's lost a lot, and I think that matters. So
I do think you could do a like, let them figure out the TNA title. Them bringing the TNA title onto SmackDown is kind of a pipe dream, right?
yeah,
But, like, say a month from now, right? Or say at WrestlePalooza, right? Because Miz is always in the back talking to Aldis. Oh, we need one more title shot. We need one more title shot. We say Nick Aldis gives Miz or Mellow Don't Miz tag title shot at WrestlePalooza.
yes,
Wyatt Six come out. Carmelo comes out. He's waiting for the Miz to come out. Miz is seen like taken out backstage,
yeah,
and Mello's got his hands out in the air, and Miz doesn't come out. Miz doesn't come out. Trick comes out. They win the belts, and then like 2, 3 weeks later, you see the video, the what do you call it, the CCTV footage of Trick taking out um Trick taking out the Miz.
yeah,
Very similar to like what happened on NXT not that long ago in a very, very similar story. But yeah, the whole like Mellow Don't Miz is funny, and I like it because I give the Miz more credit than most people do.
yes,
But I mean, Trick and Mellow on the main roster as a tag team is a no-brainer.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Trick
Maybe
and Mellow versus the Street Profit.
I don't think it's bad at all.
No.
There's so many great matches and
And we
feuds.
saw, do you remember when I think it was Trick, he was feuding with the Way, and they
Yes,
basically made Trick go through the haunted house
yes,
back in the day?
and that was
I no,
hilarious.
it was Trick and Mello
And
had
it
to
was
go through
both
the
of them.
haunted
Yeah,
house. It was,
that's what
like,
Joe Hendry
done
made
up
the song on. Yeah,
and done up by Dexter Loomis and all that kind of thing. So now take how good they were with that, like, making themselves look like absolute, like, assholes, right?
yes.
Now put them against the Wyatt Six.
Oh yeah. Well,
You think they can't
that's one of
sell
the
Joe
things I wanted to ask to you. I mean, we're obviously going
what's
to
that?
touch on it more at the end, but do you think we see the Wyatt Six return here? All of them
I
have been right. Every last one of them had been in
Yep.
NXT, so that's what makes me think it's an entire NXT faction on the main roster. I wasn't sold on them appearing, but after people like, oh, you've got Bo Dallas, the original NXT
Mhm.
champ. You've got, and it's like, oh yeah, shit, huh? Neville isn't around, so Bo Dallas is a good one to have in there for early days. Maybe Sami
Mhm.
Zayn shows up. Kevin Owens would be awesome if they could get him to appear for,
Yeah.
just a
I think,
conversation.
well, Bobby Roode's been heavily, and people want to start off the show with Glorious. I think if you're gonna get a faction showing up, and I don't know where I'm getting this is just off the top of my head. If you're gonna get a faction showing up on NXT Homecoming, I would much not necessarily prefer, but I would much more predict, Judgment Day showing up.
Okay, that makes
No,
sense, but
not only because so many of their members have, like, past and present, have come through NXT, but just because even in the more recent times, like, Dominic Mysterio was the North American champion.
yes. So they had
Like,
that going for them.
we've got sorry, I've got my notes up here for an entirely different, uh, Judgment Day type of, vid that we're gonna do eventually. But if you go through, other than Edge, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio technically counts because he was an NXT champion for a bit. JD McDonough, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
If you got randomly out of nowhere, there's like 5 minutes left at the end of the show. Finn Balor comes out and says, "Oh, nothing says the value of NXT like what we've done on the main roster with the Judgment Day." And then Liv Morgan randomly makes her
Yeah.
come back on
I'm already
NXT.
gonna kill one of my co-hosts. I don't need to go
Because
ahead and execute you, because now Liv Morgan is gonna apparently she's been announced for the announcement this Friday, which would have already happened, and because she'll be in Vegas, Cody's losing his mind, being like, "Is she gonna return at Worlds Collide?" And I'm like, "It's they're not gonna bring her back for AAA. I'm telling you right now." That would be such a miss for them because most of Liv's fans would not be tuned into AAA to be able to see her return. I
yeah, but
feel
you know
like
what? And this is
it wouldn't be the worst
smart ass.
thing. I mean, it
This
would
is
give
no, this is
eyes
the
on
smart ass
them,
part of
but
me. All those Live fans that thought, oh, I'm not going to watch that. It's just AAA are going to be coming out the next day saying, fuck me, I should have watched AAA.
yeah,
And then the
Dom was
next time
there.
they've
And
got an announcement. Well, Dom is going to be the champion. We've already talked about that.
yes, but that's what I'm saying.
But
So everyone's thinking that she's going to return to help Dom and start their Ascent face run. I don't see it yet, but
I don't think they will. I think Liv's going to come back, have a mini feud with Roxanne Perez, and move forward as a babyface.
yeah,
Maybe with Rhea Ripley, which is a separate conversation for another day. I think once Dom gets that mega title, I think he's going to be AAA focused,
yeah, it seems like it. Like that's going to
which is
be
absolutely fine.
his.
We said a very similar Dragon
Yeah,
Dragon Lee at all. Now we've sort of skimmed over it. Let's talk about what is going to be the main event if they know their ass from a hole in the ground. 6-woman tag,
yes.
Fatal Influence versus, a couple of jobbers named Stephanie Vacour, Tiffany Stratton, and Rhea Ripley.
I gotta pop my dick. Pop my neck. Your
I'm
what?
sorry.
My
I'm
dick.
sorry. I'm sorry. I know this is the wrong expression to use at the time. I love recently, and it's not even just an anti-AEW thing. It's just a because we can thing. When WWE just decides out of nowhere to throw their dick up on the table and say, deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really cool ladies faction in NXT. All right, well, here comes Stephanie Vacour. She's got a little bit of history with JC Jane. That kind of makes sense. Oh, but I've brought a friend of mine from the main roster. It's Tiffy time, who's ridiculously over, and it makes all the wrong people very, very upset that she's very, very over. And then they bring in Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley's a fucking A-bomb.
Yeah, she's the
For
star.
any
Like
for
they
any
closed
card,
out
yeah,
the main ending with her. Like she has
yes,
ascended. She is the talent now.
yes.
There's no
But like,
denying or
if you look
avoiding
at
that.
this, right? A number one, right? Like we know the strength of NXT is the women's division, and it's sort of permeating through the main roster as well, right? But if you look at the importance of the people just in this match, JC Jane, nobody really thought that they were going to throw the NXT title on her, let alone have her be the one to become the NXTNA double champion.
Certainly.
Let alone the fact that her teammates, although they're fighting with each other, just recently were in a number one contenders match for the main roster WWE Women's Championships. The three of them collectively have been a huge part of the NXT TNA deal. They've done a lot as a tag team, as a trio, as individual stars, whatnot, leading to the big Ash by Elegance gets her title moment thing. JC Jane was a big part of that.
Yeah.
Fatal Influence was a big part of that.
Absolutely.
They've had wicked tag matches, especially over in TNA, where a lot of people just, they hop into a different building with a different lick of paint and they come off like really, really big fucking stars now. Right? Now, on the other side of the coin, you've got Stephanie Vacour, who I'm sorry, AEW thought they were gonna get,
Yeah.
who's
They
fighting for the women's world title in one of the most prominent matches in the pay-per-view that they're putting directly up against AEW. You got Tiffany Stratton, who makes all the right people angry for all the laughable reasons and happens to be the women's WWE champion, and Rhea Ripley, who is one of the top 5 stars in that fucking company, point blank, period. This match is fucking deal with it. This is a match you could put on WrestlePalooza to say fuck all out.
yeah,
This is a
exactly.
match you could, I mean, the nostalgia thing wouldn't really work, but this is a match you could put on Stand and Deliver, oi, 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 and it wouldn't be even in contention of not being the main event. Whoever's in the title match, whoever's on the marquee, this would be the main event.
Yeah.
Now, Fatal Influence is going to die.
They have to. It's
Like,
got to
let's
be
be perfectly clear about
the faces come in and wreck shop match. This has to be that. I mean, you could always do it to put JC over strong before, you know, obviously everything coming up, but I don't see it happening that way, especially when you already have her blaming the other two. You've got the disillusion of their faction and everything that's coming with that. Sign me up for this. It's going to be fun,
man. On the babyface side, you've got one of the world champions, one soon to be world champion, and one that's bigger than the championship.
Yeah.
Like, Rhea Ripley could have come out on Tuesday and said, I'm taking on Fatal Influence by myself.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Like, this is just, and it doesn't make any sense, man. Why would they all be getting along? You know, they don't even go here, blah, 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 stealing stupid Bianca Belair lines, right? I would not care less.
Yeah.
This is fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
It's probably the biggest foregone conclusion match of 2025.
I feel that's the case.
This is going to be a lot of fun, man.
It's going to be great.
A lot of fun because, you know, shortly, Steph and Rhea is going to be a thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, when Rhea and Tiffany, from the first time they ever took a photo together, they were a duo. They were considered the Barbenheimer of WWE. So that's going to be something eventually. If they ever lose their mind enough to, like, move Rhea Ripley to SmackDown, Rhea Ripley versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship?
Sign me up. We've not seen a ton from those two, so that'd be great too. I mean, there's a lot to be said. I mean, it's not Becky,
a lot of fun, man.
You know, beating Bianca in 26 seconds or whatever, but
yeah, well, we all know what Bianca beats off, but anyways, we got to get her on that Naomi train.
Something Street Profits.
We want the poke.
Oh,
I'm an asshole.
That's a positive test we want to see, right?
Positive.
I'm positive.
Anyway, speaking of positivity, Jake, tell them where to find you.
You can find me on YouTube at Jake Countdown and DeMarCo, on Twitter/X, Instagram, and on Rumble at Countdown Ended. You can find us on Spotify, search it into somewhere, or on TikTok at Jake.CountdownEnded. We're a little bit everywhere.
Nice. Before I do my spiel, everybody out there listening to the sound of my voice right now, it's a pretty fucked up world out there. Check on your people. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you guys. If you guys are in the chat, you're awesome. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all of these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me and this super sexy fucker over here tagging out. Bye, guys.
Love each other.